Welcome, Taurus. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do a full moon in Capricorn reading for you. The full moon's active on the 29th of June. It's a little early. I'm putting these out here early because I do believe that the energy of this full moon is particularly powerful in opposition to the sun in Cancer. Cancer is our emotional life, our emotional intelligence, which has been greatly expanded and explored, improved upon by Jupiter's passage through Cancer. It's now moved into Leo. However, that really set the stage for, I believe, this reckoning with our own maturity, our emotional maturity, which is the signature of Capricorn, that wants to apply the lessons learned, that wants to articulate and activate what emotional information has been moving you towards. Living your truth means feeling your emotions and expressing them appropriately. And there's a lot of nuance here beneath the surface, allowing what is shown to indicate what lies beneath. So the full moon, just like the moon card in the tarot, is about seeing what's underneath the surface and allowing that complexity to exist as part of clearing away, sweeping away the path, allowing the clarity and allowing the space for new activations, new projects, new forward motion, because you're not the same person you were. This is activating your dreams. In fact, I would imagine the dream life of Taurians to be quite vivid right now, and that's just one of the ways that your guides, your ancestors are speaking to you, are protecting you actively. So let's start with the wild unknown archetypes, and I pulled the Maiden. This beautiful, very suggestive card is pretty emblematic of the energy of other names: the innocent, the princess, the virgin. The maiden archetype is the epitome of innocent arousal, naive sensuality, and precarious purity. She, they, is compelling and addictive because of their flawless and youthful glow. The maiden is perfectly positioned for trouble to come her way and subject her to challenges that lead to the next phase of womanhood. She must grow up, yet hesitates at the threshold, enamored by her own charms of youth. The maiden represents a side of us that is riveted and curious, drawn to shadowy forests, dark nights, and taking just one taste of poisonous fruit, just one. Her magic is edgy and includes both shame and delight. Let yourself fall down the rabbit hole, young or old one. Be wary of waiting for a prince. Break the spell of your own life. So this does speak at some level about breaking those illusions, right? The maiden is this kind of bubble metaphor, existing in this ideal beauty and purity. And yet, the experience of innocence begs for flirtation with danger, with adventure, with what is unknown. And from the maiden's perspective, very little is known, but there's a sensuality that calls, that begs to initiate into the next phase of life. In the Glyph Oracle, the balanced emotion cards is the clarification. It's interesting here because I'm believing that for many of you that I'm speaking to, your youth, whether regardless of your gender, The innocence of youth was a very magical, special, potent time. It may be a time in which you made all the wrong decisions. It may be a time when you reveled in the special mantle of attention that you received as young, beautiful, innocent, pure, and that there's a balance now that you are experiencing as a result of seeing through that feathery veil of your youth. How beautiful you were, how competent you were, how strong you were, how uh, uh, vivacious you were. But what occurred that made that not the preparation that perhaps you were hoping for, or the preparation that led you to a sense of balance? This balance is more about trust. Does the maiden trust? Has the maiden even experienced a lack of betrayal? Quite likely. There has been some betrayal experienced already at the simultaneous to the state of, quote, purity. The jealousy of a parent or another sibling, some kind of abuse that is rampant in a culture that doesn't respect, that deifies youth, I have to say. So this is about the jellyfish, just trust the ocean's currents to take it where it goes. There's no fighting or battling or moving against or resisting. So how have your emotions evolved to a place of recognizing the illusion from the reality, and how important that experience was in the formation of who you are, in your ability to trust? In the present, the Two of Cups. Wow, this is about deeper connection, either existing in your relationships or existing within yourself. So it's no surprise that this card is coming up, where many of your ideas about love were formed in your youth, even childhood. What did you see of love? What did the culture, the media, our social conditioning tell us that love should be or could be? And what kind of contrast is that with your real lived experience? So this does lean into the illusory, dreamy, but spiritual aspects of love, I think, as well. That's the area of your higher consciousness where you are consciously aware that all experiences can have meaning and value. They can have improved upon you in a way that is not linear and is not supported in the general culture, right? We just get old and we're not young anymore, and we're not useful. Nobody wants to look at us. These are the kinds of myths and illusions that we are actively piercing by building that stronger relationship with ourselves, not relying on others to tell us that we are still beautiful, that we are still young, that we are still amazing and wonderful, but that recognize our change is just as valuable, just as beautiful, are flowering as our youth. In the past, the Hermit card, I think there's a place at which you, I would hope, and I'm pretty sure for many of you, that you've stopped looking to others to validate your value and worth, that you stopped looking to others to tell you the things that young women love to hear or young men love to hear. There was a time when you recognized that you needed to consult or certainly develop your own authority. What were those experiences for you, and how do they reflect upon the desired connection that we all want? We want that in our relationships. We want that within ourselves. We want to value ourselves. We don't want to be reliant on others to tell us, to be begging for compliments or mad if we don't get a box of candy on Valentine's Day. I hope I'm being humorous, but I hope also that you get the point. The idea is at some point you determine what is pure, what is beautiful, what is innocent, what is open, what is sensuality. What of that still suits your needs, or what of that do you desire to maintain in your life, to sustain? And what of that has built to this stronger relationship with yourself, a stronger trust in relationships, that their regard for you is mutual and reciprocated by your regard for them, and vice versa. Are you still begging for compliments? Are you still expecting others to tell you what you want to hear rather than the truth? In the future, the Page of Swords, this is quite lovely. I like how open-ended this is, because the Page of Swords is telling me, honestly, me, Taurus, I don't really know what it is that I want now. What would be that love? There is no replacing my idealized version of love in the past, maybe one that was shattered by experience. But I can't replace that, because the world shows us nothing. The media tells us nothing. We're not conditioned to see our ability to sustain true connection in the real world. So instead, you're observing, you're looking, you're researching, you're looking around at your friends, your family, and saying, where, oh, where is there a sustained relationship that I admire? And how does that work? How does that balance? How does trust live in a relationship that is sustained over time, that is a deep connection? Certainly things change, but that doesn't mean that love doesn't exist, that trust, friendship, that loyalty, that partnership. I think that's really the thing that we're looking for as we mature. What partnership means, not just marriage or a relationship or a situationship, but where's the partnership in that? This is lovely. I like it. And I always like it when one recognizes the limits of what they know. Maybe you only know what you've experienced, and that there's more. There's more. You want more. If this is resonating for you, Taurus, please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate all the support you give me, whatever way that is. So the Hermit in the past is going to be clarified by a couple of cards, and the Strength card and the Queen of Cups. This is lovely. Well, you are a passionate, powerful individual, ruled by your emotions, your sense of beauty, your sense of care and nurturing for others. You are free with your advisement. You love and need to be passionate about what you do for others. For some of you, you have deeply fulfilling careers or side hustles or businesses, or you devote a lot of time to your families or to the community in some way. And you've done that throughout a lot of hardship, a lot of loss, a lot of storms that you have navigated, and never lost sight of what you believe is your truth. This is a phenomenal testament to your belief in love and connection, to the beauty of that, to the natural balance of that. And so this is really showing, for some of you, some real difficult and alone time that was required in order for you to acknowledge what you desire in a way that's healthy for you. We all want love, but going about it in a way that's healthy, that builds upon your already phenomenal work. And for Taurus, there's that work ethic. There's that work ethic and that sense of aesthetics, which is part of the value here. The desire to be attractive, to feel good, to look good. These are all strengths. They're cultural strengths. They're the way you represent beauty to the world that is deeply appreciated and needed in the world. The Two of Cups in the present is clarified by the Four of Cups and the Ace of Cups. Lovely. Ooh. So I see you really in a place of restlessness around this love thing. And I do believe for many of you, you are mature. You've moved past the maiden stage. You may have experienced a number of significant relationships of all sorts, but you're a little restless about your contemplation on this deeper connection with yourself that I believe you're still looking, piecing together. You're healing that self-respect, that trusting of yourself. The Ace of Cups here really speaks to this power of your passion. This is already a skill set you possess. Even as an earth sign, you're not a water sign, but even as an earth sign, there can be no more passionate, enduring love than the love of a Taurus. Almost scary. Because of the power of that love, the fierceness of that passion and attachment. And in many ways, I think you're loosening up on this idea of your fixity, that things have to be this way. And that can be a limitation for Tauruses. Real love looks like this, or our relationship is loving, has always been loving, or we once had more love, more kindness, more joy in our relationship. I'd like to reinstill that, if not in a way that alters another person or my partner, in a way that alters me, so that I am satisfied that I am loved and adored by myself. I respect and honor myself. And for those of you that are looking for love or are contemplating getting ready for love, I think this is really describing, I've worked through some experiences. I've learned who I am in those experiences, what I need. And so this is you preparing yourself to put yourself out there, to be out there. Are you quite ready to go forward and change your condition? You're still building up to it. But there's a lot about trusting yourself now that is an additional skill that you didn't have in the past. You weren't paying attention to your intuition, because if you were, you wouldn't have experienced some of the heartache that you did. The investment in the illusion, right? And moving into the future, the Page of Swords is clarified by, I love that, the Lovers. Wow. And the Ace of Swords. Well, two aces, Two of Cups and the Lovers, the Four of Cups, the Queen of Cups. I do believe that your truth, your justice is in making that connection, choosing something that lights your world, that fires you up, expressing your passion. If it's self-love, self-respect, self-regard, the ongoing and an evolving desire to display beauty in the world, if that's in your home, if that's through your appearance, and that is a big part of Venus's declaration of beauty in the world. But whatever it is, if you're an artist, you're making a choice to move towards passion in a way that is long lasting. That is your truth. And it isn't necessarily that you are defining that for others. You're defining this for yourself. This is your truth. Whatever your experience has been, whatever you have, wherever you are in your relationships, you are moving towards that long-term sustained benefit for yourself. This is for the long-term health and growth of you, the long-term adoration that you are worthy of. That's your truth. Somebody is going to be very lucky to snatch up a Taurus, I must say. And closing out, I'm going to close this out with the Stephanotis, cooperation. Take the hand offered or ask. Now that's an interesting angle. Many of you are going to be exploring alternatives to dating. You may be using apps in a way that you never have before or would never have considered in the past. You may be finding apps that are specific to your demographic, your location, your profession, that help to weed out the looky-loos or those who are looking for something short-term. Or you may simply find yourself open to friend suggestions, hanging out with friends, seeking out groups and associations that give you greater exposure to potential friends and lovers. So thank you so much, Taurus, for this beautiful reading. I am so joyful. Until next time, namaste.